Hi, and welcome to another edition of Mike Finds Things, where I go out and find crazy cool records out in the wild. These are all estate sale records except for one that I found today at a thrift store. That'll be at the end. It's kind of a neat find, and you'll see it. And this is all 45 and 78, mostly 45s. So I'll start out. I went to a sale on Thursday morning. Big sale, and then they had a lot of records, but the LPs were completely terrible. They were all easy listening and stuff like that. So all the record guys were there. Immediately switched over to the 45s, which usually I've got my run of the 45s. They pulled out some good stuff. Everyone pretty much pulled out good stuff out of the 45s. And you'll see what I got. Some soul and some other cool stuff, garagey stuff. A few hits in there. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video and leave some comments on some of these records, which helps us out with the algorithm. So we're going to start out. This is the Thursday sale. I think these records were like a couple bucks each or something like that. Some are better than others, and you'll see kind of what's going on. We've got the first one's a 62 R&B record. This one on Discogs. I usually quote Discogs prices for sold comps. Sometimes I'll quote other sold comps. Sometimes I'll let you know like what some crazy person is asking like a ridiculous amount on eBay for one of these. That does come up sometimes. Usually eBay asking prices aren't really based in any sort of reality, so I will give that disclaimer. We're going to start out. This is the Furies. Zing Went the Strings of My Heart on Mac 5, not Mark 5. I've found this label before, so I know it's Mac 5. Or sorry, Mac 4. Mac 4. Not getting my Roman numerals correctly. And Nevermore on the other side. Low of $1, mid of 550. High of 19 on Discogs. Let's have a platter pack number 1. Those are actually really easy to get off, though. And the label and the wax are in very, very nice condition on that one. Another one, we find a lot of Lowrider soul type stuff here in Southern California. A lot of soul in general. This one's kind of interesting. We actually found a bootleg of this that was put out for the Lowrider community on Blackjack Records. In fact, I've got another Blackjack record coming up once I get everything sorted out from that record lot I bought. I've actually pulled all the stuff I wanted. I've sold the rest that I did not. So I'll be getting to that hopefully in the coming weeks. But this is actually an original copy of "He'll Be Back" by the Players, not "Baby Come Back" by Player. That's a yacht rock song. On Minute Records. So it's also very clean. Now this side is the kind of like cool cruising Lowrider side, and this one's kind of more of the dancey side, the I Wanna Be Free side on that one. Has a low of $1, mid of 12, high of 20. But "He'll Be Back" by the Players is definitely one of the it's definitely one that like the Lowrider community is into. So that's kind of cool to find. Like I said, Lowrider oldies are very popular here in Southern California. I said low of $1, mid of 12, high of 20 on that one. You go into, here's one, you guys probably all know the artist. I got a couple of them by this artist because they were there and they weren't that expensive and they were in good shape. So 1965 Garage, Ring Dang Do, Sam the Sham, and the Pharaohs on MGM. Very clean copy, other than he put one of those like those label little clicker things, put his initials on there, and "Don't Try It" on the other side. These sell for a low of $1.45, mid of 2, high of 5, so nothing crazy value-wise, but judging by the condition, I'd say it was worth grabbing. I know a lot of these guys that go to these sales, they're just looking to resell stuff, so they'll pass up on stuff like that. Here's another one. This one kind of surprised me with the low value on this one. It's a 64 ska record. Not the big hit in the U.S., but it's Millie Small. You'll remember had a big hit with "My Boy Lollipop," which was a ska song, Jamaican ska song that somehow wound up over here and was a massive hit. This one's Sweet William on Smash. And I have never run across this one. Usually run across "My Boy Lollipop." And "What Am I Living For" on the other side. This one's a low of $1, mid of 2, a high of 443, which is kind of surprised the ska scene people haven't latched on to See, I think a lot of times those guys want the Jamaican pressings of various records, but kind of a cool find. Like I said, I've never run across that one. I always run across My Boy Lollipop. Another Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs in the same condition with the same little clicker label. The hair on my chinny chin chin. Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. Another one, very nice condition on this one. And I'm in with the Out Crowd. Low of 32 cents. I don't know who these people are selling records for like under $1 on Discogs, but to me it's like it would take longer to list the thing than it's worth for 32 cents. Made of $1.38 and a high of 6, but I grabbed it mostly because of the condition. You know, usually you see Wooly Bully, you know, you don't see the other ones as much. Another Sam the Sham, this one's a 65. Low of 5 cents. Someone sold these for 5 cents on Discogs. Mid of 4, high of 11. It must have just been like, it must have been just a label with like part of the plastic. Yeah, it would have been broken. Juju Hand. And then their side we got Big City Lights. So I kind of grabbed that one. That one's got a little bit of a higher value, other than the low of 5 cents. So you got to watch when you're looking up stuff on Discogs. It'll tell you what the low price is on there, and that's usually for like a trash copy or something. So you actually have to look and see what people are asking for some of these records and what some of the sold comps are. A 63 Soul record on Everest. Low of $1, mid of 2, high of 6. I Wish You Loved Gloria Lynn. And more picked it up for the condition. And through a long and sleepless night. And they did put a label on there, like with their name on it. Which, like I said, a lot of times that stuff will come off with lighter fluid. Lighter fluid will actually get stuff like that off. And no, you don't have to light a match. You just use the lighter fluid. Dissolves the glue. Here's one. This one is a little bit of a higher value. A 63 Soul promo on ABC Paramount. Kind of nice to find this one. Low of 5, mid of 24, high of 30. I put this one has a real funky dance beat, almost northern, maybe not so much. But the Half Man, Jimmy Williams, from 63 on ABC Paramount, and I Gave My Love a Cherry is the B-side on that one. So there's a little bit of a value. Getting into some psych music, we got 1966. You know their other song, which was the hit. This one is The Outsiders, and it's Help Me Girl. Yes, it's the same one that Eric Bird and the Animals does. Low of $1.49, mid of 275, high of 4. Of course, the Animals had the more famous version, and you gotta look. Of course, you always find what, like Time Won't Let Me by the Outsiders, I believe is the one you always find by them. So I grabbed it more because of the condition. Like I said, low value psych record. Another Lowrider Soul record. This is another one you find also on like those East Side Story and Blackjack and all those bootleg oldies labels. This is an original one. Unfortunately, someone did write their name across above the label. Low of $1.50, mid of 5, high of 27. 73. We got the Delphonics, I Told You So on Philly Groove Records. A little Philly soul for you. Unfortunately, they wrote something that might come off. I doubt it, but 17 in Love. I've never tried to take pen marks off of. Oh, there's the pen mark. I never tried to take pen marks off of records before, but that one's not really deep. Fortunately, they did write their name on there. Nobody in 1973 thought anybody would be collecting these records. From 1970, this one had like a low value. I didn't even put the value on it. Shocking Blue, and it's not Venus, so it's when you. So I guess that's kind of a good theme to this video. Maybe like songs from bands you've heard of, but not the one you usually find. Mighty Joe, but it's like a minty copy. Colossus with I'm a Woman on the other side. So. Of course, usually you find Venus by Shocking Blue. What else we got here? Here's one, you know the song by a different artist. It's a 1970 soul record, R.B. Greaves with Whiter Shade of Pale. So it's the same song that Procol Harum made famous. And Show Me the Way to Go on Atco. Low of a buck, mid of 250, and somebody paid $40 for one of these apparently on Discogs. So this one's pretty clean. It's got a couple little scuff marks. I believe I played it. It played just fine. So again, most of these records this guy had were in good shape. There's a few I found I would have bought if they were better, but most of them are pretty clean. Another one, the Lowrider guys like it. Yeah, it was a hit. Buck 250 mid, high of 6, woman to woman, Shirley Brown. I mostly got it because the condition's nice. I'm sure one of my Lowrider buddies will want that. Another one we got, this one, you know the song by the original artist who wrote it. This one is super clean. Low of a buck, mid of 7, high of 17. It's the jazz funk version of Rock Steady. Yes, the Aretha Franklin song. Johnny Hammond. And this one's on a part 1, part 2 record. So, fortunately, the label did take a little hit there on the part 2 side. So we got that one, 72 jazz funk record. All right, so 1971. This is all from that first sale I went to on Thursday, keep in mind. Which is a little bit of a distance to get there, not too bad. 1971 R&B funk record. Low of a buck 50, mid of 6, high of 20. If you're into Northern Soul, you know the artist. Edwin Starr, funky music, Show Enough Turns Me On a Gordy label. And Cloud9. So it was minty and I grabbed it. That's not usually an Edwin Starr I find. So, kind of neat. Another one that the Lowrider guys love so much. It is a hit, so it does pop up a lot. Low of 25 cents, mid of 4, and a high of 16. I imagine the values are just because it's definitely a Lowrider oldie classic. Bloodstone with Natural High on London. And Peters Jones on the B-side. So, okay, we got another one. This is a garage single from '66. Has that same click thing on there. Another one, you know the group, you know their other song. Ironically, I find this one for some reason more than I find the hit locally. 66 Garage, low of a buck 50, mid of 450, high of 11. It's question mark in the Mysterians with 18, the number 8 and then teen, and then I Need Somebody. And it's actually a really nice copy too, so if I can get the the little labeler off, it'd be a nice record. I've got a few nice copies of this one already. And actually in the record lot I got a really nice copy of 96 Tears. I said that's supposed to be the hit, but this one I seem to find more often for some reason in LA. Maybe it was like a local radio hit more than, although like oldies radio locally played 96 Tears like all the damn time. So I don't know. Another Lowrider Soul hit, low of 2, mid of 9, high of 20. Love Gonna Pack Up and Walk Out by the Persuaders on Win or Lose. And we got another Persuaders coming up too with a lower value. You Must Have Put Something in Your Love. So by the Persuaders, which is big time Lowrider oldie. And we got another Lowrider Soul. This one had a lower value. I seem to have lost the post-it note. I know I did have one for this, so it must have fallen off. Persuaders, What is the Definition of Love? I thought this had a lower value than the other one, though. I do remember that. And Peace and the Value of Love. Same thing on the Win or Lose label. So, in fact, obviously I cover a lot of Lowrider shows for my other channel, which is my name, Mike Frankovich. So I hear a lot of that Lowrider. I know what all the Lowrider guys listen to. In fact, I used to play that stuff on the radio, KRLA and Art LeBeau on Sunday nights and whatnot. Soul record from '64, low of 3, mid of 6, high of 12. Tempe Lauren and the Candy Girls with Runaround, parentheses, Baby Baby on, it's called Rotate Records. That's a great name for a record company. And the B-side is Run. So, low value, not a super high value soul. So another guy pulled, like, he looked it up, it was like a $40 Northern Soul record. I don't remember. It was on a label I'd never seen before. I think he was a reseller, though, so he's probably already got it up on eBay. Unfortunately, that's kind of who I'm up against at a lot of these sales sometimes. Especially when I go, I hate to say when I go west, I'm more up against that kind of thing. If I go east, I'm not, which is weird. Like, I know a record guy locally, he will not go west because he says there's just too many people, like too many resellers going through stuff. 64 girl group. This one is a low of 50 cents, a mid of 4, and a high of 15. Goodnight Baby, the Butterflies, and the Swim. So, get that. 64 girl group. Here's an R&B promo from 1970, and you probably know it. And it has a bit of a value. It's for a low of 20, mid of 23, and a high of 25. We got a on Vista Records, which was the Walt Disney record label, white label promo, Scatman Crothers. I remember we had the Scatman Crothers Hot Rod Magazine 78 in a few videos ago. This one's from 1970. Everybody Wants to Be a Cat. He was the voice of in the Aristocats movie. And the B-side is I'm the Scat Cat Man. It's a bit of a rare one. Like I said, low of 20, mid of 23, high of 25. Obviously, it's a Disney collectible. It's a white label promo. I can't imagine they put out very many of these. Maybe they weren't sold commercially. Very nice condition, so kind of cool to find. Also, this being Southern California, we have a lot of Disney people here, a lot of collectors. This one I did not write a value down. I don't think it had much of a value. It was 49 Jazz on Savoy. I always grab everything on just Savoy that's in good condition. Oh, that's right. I think I couldn't find a 45 RPM copy of this. I only found it on 78. It's Errol Gardner being from 49. So it might be, if it was pressed in 49 on 45, it would be a pretty rare record since most people were buying 78s in 1949. And that's right out, maybe like a year after the 45 came out. It's Errol Garner with September Song. It's a jazz record on Savoy. And so I think all the copies I found were on this were on 78. Stopping at the Savoy on the B-side. That's why I didn't have anything written down for it. If I remember right. I could be wrong. We do have a song written by Edwin Starr from 1966. Is a Northern Soul record with a low value. So, usually when you hear Northern Soul, one of these, it's worth all this money. Well, they're not all worth that a lot of money. This one is a low of 2, mid of 5, high of 8. It's and it was a return. It's got a hole punched in it. Lonely Summer, The Shades of Blue on Impact Records. And With This Ring. In fact, I believe that was a hit. So, probably why there's a bunch of them out there. I've seen Northern Soul records where they were a hit and, pretty well released, and they still had a decent value before as well, though. Here's one that's a novelty record, and you'll see why it has a value. From 64, low of 3, mid of 750, high of 12, and is the Swans on Cameo. Boy with the Beetle Hair. So I imagine Beatles collectors want this. It's kind of like a campy song where they're in love with the boy with the Beatles looking haircut, and Please Hurry Home. And it's in really, really, really nice condition. No one put an address label or wrote on it or anything. But I can imagine like Beatles collectors would like to own something like that. Even though it's not the Beatles. Now we got, this is a really common record. I usually grab when the wax is good. This one looks like it'll clean up really well. It's just a little dirty. 1960 R&B instrumental. The Viscounts, which usually you find Harlem Nocturne. Low of $1, mid of 2, high of 11. So nothing crazy value-wise. Night Train. And Summertime. And next we have a Garage from 66, local LA garage group that's pretty well known nationally. Again, another one you usually find their bigger hit. What's funny is I found another copy of this record in that record stash I got, so that'll be coming up in that video. And that one was probably in almost as good a condition. I think this one was cleaner than that one now that I'm looking at it again. It is the Standells, low of a buck, mid of 7, high of 20 on this one. This one's probably towards the upper end because it's super clean. Sometimes good guys don't wear white. Of course, usually you find Dirty Water, you know, one about, it's the LA group doing the song about saying they're from Boston. And Why Did You Hurt Me is the B-side from the garage group, the Standells. I said most of the time when you find a Standells, it's a Dirty Water 45. Got a few from the same group. I buy these because my dad really liked these guys. I like them too, but always reminds me because my dad told me he saw these guys, used to go see these guys playing when he lived in London in the swinging 60s. We got to get out of this place, the Animals on MGM, but like a super clean copy. Low of a buck, mid of 3, high of 20. And I can't believe it's the B-side. Of course, a massive hit from 65. I don't mind picking these up when they're clean like that. A 66 Psych. Other one, okay, we got two different label variations of the same record by Eric Burdon and the Animals, so I'll take the other one out. These are both, this is 66 Psych record. We got CC Rider, Eric Burdon. One says Eric Burdon, the Animals, all in the same size font. The other one, they emphasize the Eric Burdon. There's that one. And both of them have She'll Return It on the B side. So you'll see that's one instance where I pulled the same record at the same estate sale, two different copies with two different label variations, and then we'll be flip them over. And then so yes, this one they put a sticker on one of them though. You can see the label variations there. So CC Rider, Eric Burdon, and the Animals. And one of them, they put Eric Burdon in giant letters, and the Animals really small. So another one I found, two of the same record, low of a buck, mid of 8, high of 19, from 72 Funk record on Aware Records. King Hannibal, The Truth Shall Make You Free. It's kind of a neat, like, minor label there. And It's What You Do, and they're both in the same condition. I'm not going to take this one out of the sleeve, but see, I literally found two copies of the same record at that sale. Yeah, I really like that record. Some of this stuff, in fact, there's another one where I've got 5 copies of the same record, so jukebox guy? I don't know. Actually, the next one's the one where I have 5 copies. That one I usually come across on specialty, but I bought 5 copies because they were all clean. Low of a $1.50, mid of $6.50, high of 19. It is a cool, it's almost like a single string guitar. I was reading a little bit about this record. Renee Hall's Orchestra from 58 with Twitchy. So on specialty. And they're all really nice with Flippin' as the B-side. And probably not my favorite thing on specialty, but it's cool. And I don't remember ever hearing that on like the oldie stations. But I literally have like, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. And I don't recall ever coming across this record before, but I bought all 5 copies. We got another specialty coming up on 78 as well. Actually, I think it's coming up real soon. I just saw it in the stack. So, yeah, there you go. I bought 5 copies of the same record at the same sale. Yeah, I think that's a new record for me, but it's a weird one. It's not like I bought like something that's super common. I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's not like, it's not like one of the ones you always find at sales, even locally. 1951 Doo-Wop. This one I've got so many notes on. I found a guy asking $250 for it. I found a guy asking $750 for the 45. I don't think either of those were based in any sort of reality. I did find one copy of this sold for $30. I found another guy asking $50 for one of these. I believe that was on Discogs. I did find a 45 of this sold on Pop Psych for $45. and a 78 of this sold for on Pop Psych for 75. So that's a sold comp on this record. This one's in pretty good shape. It actually plays really well. I played it 1951, and before I show you what it is, it was also reissued. It was released in the 50s on 45, but they're pretty rare. And apparently, it was reissued like much later on a 45 by Specialty, which are way more common, and they only go for a few bucks. But it is the Victorians, a Doo-Wop from 51. I guess you're satisfied. On a Specialty label. This was at a different sale, I should say. I went the next day to a different sale, which was actually kind of near where the other one was. And I went through all the 78s they had. There was a radio guy. So one tip when you're looking for estate sales, radio guys, and obviously guys who like have old Victrolas and fix like old turntables and stuff and have all the equipment and tubes and everything, they're going to have 78s. They're going to have records. Don't Break My Heart Again on the B side on a Specialty from 51. That is killer. Obviously that is going in my collection. And it's a nice shape. Both sides play extremely well. Very haunting doo-wop. I think it just has like it's just almost an acapella, but with like a slight guitar accompaniment on it. You can look that up. I know that song. It was on like a lot of later compilations. You can pull it up on iTunes or YouTube or whatnot and listen to it. But a great doo-wop from 51 on Specialty. I was very happy to find that because I only found a few records at that sale, as you'll see. Like I said, this is the one I went to the day after. I wanted to go back out there because it said they had 78s, and I was like, I knew I'd be the only guy there. I knew I'd be the only guy going through the records because there was another sale near there where they had like punk rock records and 70s stuff. So all the record guys that were resellers would hit that one. So this one has sold for $20. It's the only sold comp I could find on this one. Earl King on King Records, gratefully. This one does have a little bit of wear. It did have a little bit of. It might clean out. If I clean it, it might reduce some of the background noise. I didn't clean it, and don't take it so hard on the B side. This guy actually put little labels as to like whether the records were good or not, which is kind of weird. Like most of the stuff he had was your typical big band stuff you always find. I don't think there was anything that was like broken there. I will say there was a record this morning. I went to a sale after a car show that was broken, and I don't even want to say what it is because it's pretty bad that it was broken. We'll just leave it at that. From 1957, a jazz blues record. Now this is a mystery. This one is crazy. The 78, Discogs doesn't show the 78 existing. I couldn't find anybody else online that had the 78. It's got to be rare because it's from 57. By then, most people switch over to 45. The 45 version sells between 20 with this label. On this label is 20, 22 mid, high of 24. Now the guy's name is Don Reed, not Donna Reed. It's not a TV show. Don Reed. It was also released as Don Sterling, but the same record in 1958, a year later, on Corvette label, only on a 45. That 45 goes for a low of 30, mid of 33, high of 37. So it's sort of a mystery record. This is on Encino Records out of Hollywood, which makes no sense because if you know LA, Encino is not near Hollywood. So weird one. It's sort of like a jazz blues, almost a rock and roll. I did play it, and it plays well. That Wonderful Someone on Encino Records. And I can't find anybody online that has the 78 version of this, only the 45. And the B-side is Two Shades of Blue. I believe both these are on YouTube. You can listen to them on YouTube. And sort of a weird one. So what's it worth? I have no idea. It is a sort of mystery. Like I said, I couldn't find anybody else that had it on 78. So kind of a cool record for the collection. I'm glad I was able to save that because, like I said, a lot of times if I don't buy these at a sale, you don't know what's going to happen to them. They might get donated to a thrift store. You know, thrift stores usually just throw 78s in the garbage because they don't want to put them out. So that was definitely a cool find. I would say I spent $20 at the sale on the records, and I also bought a really cool, it's like a oil can with an elephant on it, like a vintage 2-gallon oil can with an elephant. It turns out that thing sells for like $400 online, so I did well at the sale. This one doesn't have a high value. I picked it up because it had a label I'd never seen before. 1946 Jump Blues. And I like Jump Blues stuff. Gene with Gene, the Gene Morris Quintet. I need to get through this. Hopefully the camera doesn't overheat again. I did put a fresh battery in it. Laughing at Life on the other side. So I did find that. He had a lot of other stuff that was just normal stuff you would find on 78, which I did not buy. I really wish it was close enough. I could have went back today and just worked them a deal for the rest of them. But like literally, I was in a completely opposite direction. Earlier today, because I was filming down in Anaheim, and there was actually a sale 16 minutes from where I got done filming. So I went down there and checked that out and found some interesting stuff. And then later on went to a thrift store after I went to an estate sale closer that had nothing. I said, you don't find stuff at every estate sale, and you generally have to just kind of like look at the pictures, look at the estate sale, and decide, do you think, is it worth driving? Do you think they're going to have the kinds of records you're looking for? Now, this one is a gospel record. I don't have a year on it. One did sell. This is an actual sold comp on eBay for $23, but that one looked like it was in better condition. And it is the Stewart Sisters, but it's not the Stewart Sisters that recorded for Specialty. It was like a white Doo-Wop group. This is actually Black Gospel. The Lord's Going to Bless You on B&B Recording. So I don't think it meant bed and breakfast. On Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles. There's that one. I always like picking up these Black Gospel records. And Born to Die. I can't imagine they pressed very many copies of this one. Just kind of a neat one to pick up, especially it wasn't that expensive. It was the second day of the sale. I think everything was half off. I bought this and I bought some towels because I needed towels for like wiping down cars, and they were like $1 each or something. Here's one, the song probably. It was done by various artists. 67 soul record, low of 2, mid of 7, high of 25. Plays great. It's a little worn out. It's on Gold Wax Records, The Dark End of the Street, James Carr. And Lovable Girl. They had other soul records that were more common, but they were kind of banged up, like Aretha and stuff like that, Laverne Baker. I would have liked to have known maybe what they had the first day, because I literally couldn't go the first. This was 16 minutes from where I was filming this morning, so that was, otherwise I would not have probably gone to the sale since it was very far from my house down in Anaheim. 67 soul record, low of $1, mid of 6, high of 19. Why Not Tonight, Jimmy Hughes on Fame Records. And Why Not Tonight's the other side as well. So, in fact, this might be, because I played both sides, I think they accidentally put the same label on both sides, so I'll have to look at what the other side is. Now that I look at it, I think that's what happened. 208, what's this one say? Yeah, that's what happened, because I just looked at the wax number versus what the label number. So the B side is something, the other side is something else. They did play it, and I was like, well, it sounds like it says the same name, but it sounds like a completely different song. And I literally just picked this up a few hours ago at a sale. So it's Joe Simon on VJ Records, low of 63 cents, mid of 4, high of 12. A little scratched up, but it did play. Say That Your Love Is True, 64 soul record on VJ. And My Adorable One is the other side on that one. So, kind of nice. I always like to find stuff at sales when they're like close by where I just happen to be going. Sales that I wouldn't normally go to. Like, a few weeks ago I picked up that Crows Miss You 45. So okay, this one I'm not taking out. It's in really good shape wax-wise. I've got to glue. The labels unglued themselves. This is a 56 rock and roll. Actually, I'll pull it out, and I'll just be really careful with the labels. I don't know, have any of you guys ever got to glue records back on the labels back onto records? Because these had separated. I played both sides. They play fine, and it's in really nice shape. I went to this estate sale thinking they would have records because they had old stuff. No records. And so, I'm right by the estates there, the thrift store I like to go to. I went down there. The records were terrible. That thrift store usually doesn't put out 45s or 78s. And look, I found 145 I was like, wow, that's an interesting looking label. It's out of Minneapolis. This one, and I looked it up. It's actually got some value. It is sold, I think, for between like 50 and 70 bucks. It is a rock and roller from '56, Ivy League Baby, the Augie Garcia Quintet on Kirk Records. Now check out that label. Pretty much, you're out in the wild, you see a label like that, you're gonna look up what it is because I've never seen that. It's out of Minneapolis. Who knows how it got out here? Someone might have moved here. And I'm looking through the rest of the store to see if there's any other 45s, and there were not, because if they had this, who knows what else they had. Let the Good Times Roll. Yes, it's the Louis Jordan song. It even says L. Jordan for the writer. Nice rock and roll version of that. And I would like to hopefully figure out a way to get those labels back on there. I'm going to be very careful with this one since it does have some value and it's in very nice condition. Clear my throat here. So that's what I got for you this week. Hopefully I'll be getting those records that I picked up in the... I got to go through them. I got a bunch that are ones that are just common ones I'm probably going to sell. I'm not going to put those in the video. And I got a lot of stuff that there's a lot of interesting soul and garage and like literally all sorts of different stuff, but interesting stuff. That might actually be multiple videos just because there's so much stuff that is interesting from that from that lot I bought out. And I'll probably be finding more stuff at more sales as the summer goes on. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment as to what some of your favorite records were in here. And make sure you like the video. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.